don't like that one either. Okay, we're gonna just roll with it though. 2 moments. Remember that, guys. Impromptu moments.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I love your setup. I feel like we had a camera crew come over there and set you up.
I love it. Thank you so much. It's at the shop. It's at the shop. So just so you
That
know,
is,
this is kind of like what it looks like. This is the vibe that we have going on here.
yeah, Letty, it's so nice to meet you. I know we haven't met in
Yay.
person, and we're hopefully that'll change soon, but I'm super, super excited to have you on here. Thank you so much.
Of course. Listen, I want to say thank you so much for just inviting me to be on this live with you and this opportunity. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Of course. So I wanted to just dive right in and talk about you have I Am Threads, which is, oh, you just reminded me to put my AirPods
Oh,
on. I totally
there you go,
forgot.
girl. And
Girl,
you know
thank
what?
you.
You are my girl. I love your vibe. You're like over there looking through your filters.
I know, I'm just trying to find the word. A little smooth jazz in the background. You can't really hear it though, but I was trying to
Ooh,
create like
we have like
a whole
a talk show vibe going on.
yeah, and of course I meant to tell you like I'm drinking my mimosa. So cheers to
You
you.
know what? Cheers. I wish I had, but you should have told me and I would have
I
had
know,
everything
sorry.
prepared. Girl,
That's my fault. I'm so
it's all
sorry. I'm
good. It's all
sorry.
good. Girl, mimis are my thing. I love me a little mimosa.
Are you able to grab one real quick or no?
No, I don't have
No?
champagne
Okay.
here.
Okay. All right. Well, next time
Oh,
we're
but
gonna
it's
toast
all
it though
good.
in
It's
real
all
life.
good.
Okay. Very well then. Very well then. But thank you for being so cool about it.
For
Okay, so
sure.
let's dive right in. So I Am Threads. It's your baby. It's your boutique.
She
It's
is.
your story. So let's hear about how that all got started and what your inspiration behind it was.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yes, you're so right. Literally, it's so funny. I always say I Am Threads really is like my baby because my boyfriend and I, we don't have any children of our own. And I'm like, girl, I don't even need children because having just I Am Threads, I devote so much of my time to her, so much like dedication. Here where we're at in the arts district in Ontario, we have art walks like quarterly, before this whole situation that's going on, this whole pandemic. So
Right.
quarterly we would have art walks. So I always say that's like her birthday party, like because every single time, like I'm always just arranging things, getting things ready for that event. So yes, but the way that I ended up getting started with I Am Threads is just it's crazy. I really from the get go, I always say like it's a God given dream because literally it's just a dream that God really gave me. I've always loved clothes and fashion, but I mean, I would wish I wanted to own a boutique and a store of my own, but I never thought it would be possible. So, I went to school, I got my career, I was in my career, I was so grateful for that. But I felt like God was still placing it in my heart. It was really weird.
Hmm.
It was just compelling. When you have a compelling feeling, it's just there. You don't know. Like it's a pull. Literally, it was a pull that was just like, leading me towards doing this. I ended up obeying. I did it. And I think it was like the best decision I could have ever made because as soon as I made that decision, as I started going towards it, I saw God really, I saw his hand in everything. And up until this day, I honestly still see him in it. And I think the reason why is because, for example, even with the name I Am Threads, it's a twofold meaning behind it. So I am, the first portion of it is God Almighty, the great I am. That's him. So
Hmm.
he's glorified in the name. Threads is just the
Hmm.
clothing. I am is very interesting because every single clothing item that I carry, I name it after an I am affirmation. So it'll be the I am enough. I am beautiful. I am, stunning. I am worthy. So the goal behind that is for, and just like our I Am Threads mission, is for women to feel empowered, to gain self love, and to feel good inside and out. And the way that our mission is brought in and doing that is because they are going to feel good outwardly when they're wearing their nice threads. They feel nice, they feel pretty, they feel beautiful, but then they feel good inwardly because they're reminding themselves, I am stunning, I am enough, I am worthy through the threads that they're wearing from our collections.
I love it. That is such a
Thank
beautiful
you.
story.
Thank
And
you
I'll
so
tell you
much.
that that's one of the reasons why I connected with you is because when we can, I always like to talk about how I've connected with somebody just a little bit. Some people I've met in person, some I haven't. We've not met in person, but we
Right.
connected somehow over Instagram. And I remember thinking, my gosh, like she's super cool. We exchanged a couple of messages, and you were already so supportive, and you were kind of like, you had this attitude of however I can help. You were busy at the time, but I could tell it was a genuine offer of like however I can help.
Thank
And
you.
so I love that. And then I realized, I was like, wow, I'm like checking out your website, and I'm checking out your Instagram, and I'm like, oh, she's a woman of faith. How incredible that is. And then you
Hmm.
put God into your business, and
Oh
I'm a
yeah.
belie- I'm a believer too, so I know that
Good.
I know that having God in your business is really going to help it grow. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna
Yeah.
bless it. He's gonna bless your business. So
Yeah.
that's really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's so awesome because this whole business was derived from him. So I
Right.
always just give him the praise and the glory. And for me, people like my friends who have known me for years, they know I haven't always been saved. I grew up,
Right.
like Catholic. Not that there's anything against that. I just wasn't involved in church. I didn't go. I didn't know the word, honestly. And
Hmm.
I didn't, become a Christian until I was older. I was maybe about, I lose track now, but I was maybe 19, 20. It was like fresh out of high school almost. And my life just changed for the better. And that's when God, I just had more of a relationship with him up until now, this point. And I see his hand in everything. And even this whole, like everything that I have is because of him. So I always usually just give him the glory, and him the how would I say, the credit,
Right.
because it's just,
Right.
I'm just obeying. Honestly, he leads me and I'm just like, okay, I'll go. And it's so cool. I just see the outcome, and it's, I can't help but just be so grateful.
That's so beautiful. Congratulations to you so
Thank
much.
you.
So what I want to ask you is, from idea to bringing this baby to life, what was the most complicated part of it for you? Looking back on that, what was the hardest part of that journey?
The most complicated for me, is, I mentioned earlier, I had my career. I, was in my full-time job, my full-time position. I couldn't complain. It was good. It was just, it was what I went to school for. I was doing exactly that. And the most difficult part is that I had God here on one side leading me, compelling me, right? And I started baby steps. I started I Am Threads while I was working on my full-time job, but I felt like he just wanted me to do it like full time. I felt like it was still kind of like it's true. I was distracted. Because when you're at a 9 to 5, you have things that you need to do. You got to get there early. For example, you have to, you have your work that you have to get done, meeting deadlines. And not only that, but then you get home, and let's be real, it's like you only have a short amount of time. You eat dinner, you chill for a little bit, you got to go to sleep to wake up the next day, and it's like a whole routine. So I wasn't really devoting everything to I Am Threads. So the most difficult part for me was getting out of there, getting to the point where I had to trust God that if I left my full-time job, he would take care of me, that he
Hmm.
would, make sure that, it grew, and that, he was actually doing what he needed to do with I Am Threads. So it was a lot of, just to be honest with you, trusting in him. And I haven't really talked about this, but I will eventually, especially more so on my platform in depth. But when I was at that full-time job, I have to be completely honest. I have no shame in being honest, because it's true. I'm Christian, but I'm not perfect, and I don't think I ever will be. But when I was at that full-time job, I started slacking. I started, like, I feel like my integrity was it was kind of shifting. I knew that I
Hmm.
shouldn't be doing certain things, but I was doing certain things. For example, if you're
Right.
at a full-time job, you really shouldn't be on your phone because you're at work. But guess
Yeah.
what? I was doing that. I should get to work on time, but guess what? I wasn't getting to work on time. So
Right.
these things were coming up, and to me, those were signs of I just wasn't as devoted to that as I was before. And I don't think that was fair to the job and the people who I was working with, because I was in social work. So I think to my families that I was working with, that also I don't think I was giving them all of me. And so I think it was
Right.
just time for me to leave that behind and focus on I Am Threads. And I did that in August of 2019. And I think it's just like the best decision I've ever made, because I really, really saw God, and I still see him just working so much with I Am Threads.
And that's so beautifully said too, because I mean, it tells me that, you're kind of going back, we were saying, like, when you're doing the right thing, my mom used to always say this to me, when you're doing the right thing, God will bless that. You know what I mean? So I always hear that in the back of my head. And you
That's
recognize
beautiful.
that. Yeah. And one of
I
my
love
favorite parts
that.
of what I'm doing is with Glow Getter. For those that don't know, obviously it's a business that I created last year to help support small women-owned businesses, because I have my own small women-owned business. And one of my favorite things is getting to connect with ladies like you, hear about the
Yay.
backstory. I love a good backstory. You know, everybody has a backstory, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
And I love connecting. This is such a beautiful opportunity to do this, and just to like hear other women and support each other.
Right.
So the next thing that I'd like to ask you, of course, we're all facing a really difficult time right now, unforeseen, and we don't know how long it's going to be going on for. So what I want to know is, how has COVID-19 affected your business right now, and what are you doing to keep moving business forward?
Wow. Okay. So for me, for example, I'm very blessed that I have a lot of friends who, just like you, who are business owners, who are entrepreneurs. And it's so funny because we've actually, we've been having like Zoom meetings, you know, via Zoom, and where we're talking about how has it affected you, blah, 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 you know,
Mm-hmm.
and going so on and so forth. And to be completely honest with you, friend, again, praise God. I, I really am being so truthful. I have not really felt it in my perspective because
Mm-hmm.
thankfully I have such a great Threads community and Threads babes and friends who support, and even new incoming Threads babes who are supporting and purchasing our threads, which is such a blessing. I'm seeing that, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's God. I know it's God. It has to be Him because there can't be any other way. Oh, even talking about it kind of makes me emotional. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Um, it's
No,
just
don't
because
apologize.
you would think at this time a lot of people are struggling, but again, you put your trust in God, like in such a sincere way, and He takes care of you, you know? Oh, girl, I
Absolutely.
didn't even know I was going to get
Absolutely.
emotional. And
That's
so yeah, for me, you know, business is still going great. Praise God. You know, I'm still getting sales, which is so amazing. Literally every single time I get a sale coming in, you know, you don't know like how grateful I am for it, you know. And I have that faith that I know it is God that's taking care of it, and that's just doing what He has to do. So that's a really good thing. And I think on the contrary, when I saw this whole movement coming, that this was going to come to a point that we wouldn't be able to connect face to face, because, you know, I do have my brick and mortar. So now
right.
that lessens the traffic that could come in, the foot traffic. I started strategizing in a sense that I knew I would have to market a different way. You know, I don't think I had to, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to keep doing everything the same way. So just marketing my threads, you know, for example, now everything's just online, right? I do have my online store. So offering free shipping with every purchase. That's not something that I offered before. But again,
Mm-hmm.
because now my foot traffic isn't here, then I'm doing that. Another thing I'm doing right now is I'm offering curbside pickup. Safe, sanitary, you know, you don't even have to get out of your car. I'll take it to you. Everything's already packed and ready to go. That's
Nice.
another thing. So just trying to get creative in a sense that I knew again that you know, you just have to move. You know, things, I don't think change is a good thing. And I don't think we should, you know, get in our heads about it, right? You just got to keep it
Right.
going, keep it pushing. And I think it'll work. And I mean, again, I see it working for myself, which is a huge blessing. I'm so grateful for it.
Wow, Letty, I really, really love your energy. I really,
Thank
really love your
you.
spirit. It is so
Thank
beautiful.
you.
I can just see how God has obviously, He has His hand over your life. And
It's
I can just
God.
see and feel
Ooh,
it
girl.
is. I see that you have, you know, grace and mercy and favor. You have a lot of favor over you right now. Not just right
Thank
now, but
you.
just over your life. What a
Hmm.
blessing that really, really is.
Yes. Yes.
I wish everybody could experience His love, and really come to see that He's for us, not against us, you know, and He
Exactly.
wants
He
us.
takes
Yeah.
care of us. He provides all that, girl. I'm like, you and I, we could keep going on about how good he is.
Amen. Absolutely. So I want to ask you though, when this is all over, what's the first thing that you want to do?
Ooh, personally, or like for I Am Threads, like,
You for both, for both.
oh,
Yeah.
girl, my AirPod just died, but it's all good. Ooh, for I Am
That
Threads.
happened to me on my first interview.
Oh, really? Okay, the first thing, and I
Yeah.
can't find. I literally have this habit where I only wear one, so I can't find the other one. I don't know where I left it. It's probably in my car. So,
Oh, the first thing I want to do is celebrate I Am Threads. Have a birthday party for her because her anniversary, our second year anniversary, her birthday, her second birthday is April 22nd, which is this
Oh,
month.
okay.
So it's about like 2 weeks
Yeah.
away on a Wednesday. So what I wanted to do initially, I was going to have a birthday party for her. It was going to be like an anniversary event at one of the art walks that I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the interview.
Hmm.
I had it all planned out. I was gonna have like a photo booth, where like, cause us girls, we love photos and like printouts. You could take your little printout of your picture. I had this
Right.
whole thing planned, but the first thing that I want to do is like probably have an outing like that. Have all our friends, all our Threads babes come over, celebrate. And so that's for I Am Threads, like for business wise. Personally, girl, I want to go to a restaurant. I want to have some brunch. That's what I want to do.
A brunch with a mimosa.
Yes. Some chilaquiles or something. Yum.
Yes, yes. But you can't put it with champagne. You have to put it with Prosecco, though. And
Ooh,
drink Prosecco. You've had Prosecco,
girl.
right?
I love. You're taking me back
Okay.
to my Italy days because when was it? I think
Yes.
2018. I went on a besties trip like with my friend to Italy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what they had us on over there is Prosecco. So if she's watching, I don't even know if she's on here. She would know what we're talking about. Like, trust me, we
Oh
love
my gosh.
too.
Yes, I love Prosecco. Um, that is a very, very good answer. What was the next thing the other thing that I want to ask you, you have such a great start to your business. You really do. What is your long-term vision for your business?
Ooh, long term, I definitely want to have multiple locations. So my vision is to keep to keep this place, the first place, as the, I Am Threads #1, and
Right.
just venture out into different cities. And God willing, I have that on my vision board. And I mean, God willing, I know it's going to happen. If I'm all about speaking what you want into existence, I truly believe in that. So I believe long term, I'll have multiple locations, different cities. Another thing is designing my own collections as well, because I get that question asked so frequently. A lot of people are always like, "So do you design your clothing?" No, I don't yet. Again, speaking it into existence. Right now, what I do is I purchase everything wholesale and then just resell.
Right.
But because like I Am Threads, our inspo and what we carry is more like boho, like inspired clothing. I would want to do that in a sense for everybody, because one long-term goal that I have for I Am Threads is inclusivity. So I want to carry sizes extra, extra small through triple XL for women, because that's a struggle that I see so badly, and I dislike that it's like that, is the people who are extra, extra smalls and the people who are over here 2XL, 3XL, they struggle with being able to find clothing like what we carry when you're like kind of
Right.
boho into that kind of like, a style.
Hmm.
So I want to be the type of clothing business that's able to lessen that gap, fill in that gap, and be that brand for them as well. Just be all inclusive for everybody. So that's honestly like one of my biggest goals that I have right now for I Am Threads that I see long term.
I love that. I want to ask you a question off the cuff, because I'm sure there's lots of ladies who would love to open a fashion store and do what you're doing. And when you started that, can you kind of walk us through like what that initial process was like of trying to find your first wholesale account? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
yeah,
So, okay, again, going back to when I was at my full-time job, again, see what I'm saying? I wasn't motivated anymore. I was at my desk. I was searching, like, where do I start, right? I was still at work that time. And there's more of a backstory. I had applied for a, like, management type position or supervisor position at where I was at. In my opinion, I felt like I deserved it. I felt like I had it in the bag. Not to be arrogant or anything. And then I didn't even get an interview. It was given to someone else. And that's kind of like, again, I felt everything I know God plans everything. And I think God just knew that if I got that position, I would have just been stuck there. I would have stayed longer than
right.
I should have, that he wanted me there. I see that now. In the moment, I didn't see that. So that's where that compelling feeling came in while I was at my desk. And back when I had just graduated high school, I worked at a in a wholesale distributor in Ontario, and they I was so blessed. I'm telling you, friend, it's crazy how God works. I was fresh out of high school. I got that customer service job. They sent me to one of the biggest fashion trade shows, Vegas. It's called Magic in Vegas. It was a convention. It was beautiful. Can imagine, like, someone who loves fashion like me, and I was so young. I was just like, what is this? Like, they had fashion shows. They had panels of like people high up in the fashion industry. Every brand you could imagine was there. I was just in awe. So when I was at my desk, I wanted to go back. I was like, you know what? I want to go to Magic. So I started searching, tickets. I wanted, but not just anyone could go. I thought anyone could go. No, it's like, no, you have to have X, Y, and Z. So I was like, you know what? I needed to do that. So I started Googling everything that I needed to do. And then I was like, well, you know what? Now I have my licenses. Now I have my permits. So now I'm going to go to LA. I didn't even know where to go, but I went, like I just went out there by myself. And I think some people would kind of be scared to roam the streets of LA by themselves. But I was like, you know what? If I really want this, I gotta go for it. Because an excuse could be, well, my boyfriend can't go, my grandma can't go with me, my auntie can't go with me. So I would have never done it. So I just went and I was like, you know what? God is gonna cover me. He's gonna take care of me. So I ended up going. I found out where the wholesale district. I had my permits already. So when I wanted to purchase, I only purchased one dress. I started off with one dress. And I purchased it. I had enough money for that. I started off with my budget also was not big. I started off I Am Threads with maybe about $400 budget, very, very small, which was about 4 items. But the first one that I started was, that dress. And yeah, I mean, it was a little bit difficult, but because I didn't utilize what we have. We have Google. I could have Googled everything and I would have been golden, or researched YouTube videos, but I didn't. I don't know why. Now I know about all of that, but I feel like, again, God helped me just, fall into the places that I needed to, and he led me where I needed to. So, I mean, it was okay. I don't regret the way that I started.
No, that's great. I want to ask you, how do you feel Instagram has been beneficial to your business in
Very,
growing it?
very, very beneficial, to be honest with you. I feel like it's one of the highest sources of how I bring in traffic to my brand, not only on the website, but also here at my store, at my actual location. But one thing that I am working on, especially that I had planned for this year, is I want to have I Am Threads on every social media platform. So whether that's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, make it be known on everything. Because let's say, for example, all this that we could have never foreseen, this whole pandemic, let's say IG were to go away, and that's where my main source of people are at. I don't want that to be just, oh, they can only find me on Instagram. Now Instagram's gone. I want to make sure that, okay, I also have an audience on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube. So that's kind of another thing that I do, is like I try my best to make sure that I Am Threads is known, or at least present on every social media platform.
Have you, I want to ask you, like, businesswoman to businesswoman, because I want to have like authentic, real questions in my interviews. And I'm in this whole space of me doing interviews, I just want to keep it 100%, honestly.
I like that. I like it.
So with that being said, when I was using Instagram, like influencers, to help push my lipsticks, my personal experience with that was not so great. Like I gotta tell you that I had sent so much product to so many ladies, and it was the best times I would do sales was when I was talking about the product myself. But for you, have you utilized influencers? And if you have, how has that turned out for you?
Okay. Yes, I have. I feel like more so towards the beginning, I was doing that more, but I didn't do it too much, because when you're doing that, you're losing out on a potential sale, and that could be, a sale that you can go ahead and utilize towards getting new threads, right? So I did that more towards the beginning when I had just started. I could be honest with you, all the experiences were great. I've been so blessed that whenever I did work with an influencer, they gave me like above and beyond content. They went above and beyond also, just to shout out like I Am Threads and everything, genuinely as well. So that was really good. Literally, I've only had one situation where I sent one item to one influencer, and honestly, I think the item that I sent her didn't match with her feed, if you know what I mean, her aesthetic.
Right.
So she never photographed herself in it. She never posted about it. And that was my only one. And I wasn't mad about it. I'm still not mad about it. I get it. You know, I think the whole Instagram feed aesthetic is a big thing. So now what I do, like if I do work with someone, I'll ask, what are your like your tones? What do you usually post on your page? Because if they're more like my tones where it's like, you know, browns and, you know, orangey peach type thing, then I probably won't send them something yellow or pink because they might not match their
Right.
feed. So I don't want to run into that situation where someone doesn't photograph themselves in my threads that I send them because it doesn't match. So everyone else, it's been good, it's helped. But again, even now, I really don't do it too often because of my, again, I don't have too much either. That's the other thing. I'm a small boutique, so I don't have a large inventory like a Forever 21 would, or a store at the mall, right? I'm not there yet. I think God willing, I will get there. And when I do have that and I have more inventory, then I think I'd be more than happy to work with a lot more influencers. But now what I do is just literally my customers. I'm so blessed that my customers themselves, they have such great style, obviously, because they're shopping with us. No, but they're beautiful. They have like good, girl, I'm like, dang, they're not influencers, but I'm like, they be photographing themselves like they are. Again, I'm so blessed. And if you go through my feed, most of the pictures are all just from my customers, from our thread saves. And
No, you have
they
a great page.
thank
I love your
you.
page. You do. It's like, it's definitely eye-catching. Beautiful logo, beautiful color scheme with your business. I mean, you've done such a phenomenal job, honestly.
Oh my
Like, you
God.
have.
I
Seriously.
appreciate you saying that so much. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you saying that.
Yeah, of course. So you have your location in Ontario, you're online. Um, you're doing it. You're really, really doing it. And I love that you have faith in your business. I know you're gonna go far, do phenomenal things. You've got such a great personality, by the way. I'm super, super excited to chat with you. I love it. You're so bubbly.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm so loud. Yeah, but you know, I'm just me. I'm just me, you know? I don't know.
What would be the one piece of advice that you would give? I love this question, and I kind of dislike it at the same time because it does seem incredibly cliche to be like, what one piece of advice would you give somebody? But yet I understand how important it is. You know, somebody could be watching you right now or later and be like, oh my gosh, you know, that one time that she said this and that spoke to me. What would be the one piece of advice that you would give somebody right now who's on that cusp of, I want to start a business, but they're just still stuck in fear and trepidation?
Ooh, good one, good one. I would say two words that come to mind: empowerment, self-empowerment, and self-love. Again, I feel like for me, the reason I am Threads is what it's called as well is because I haven't always been the most confident person. When I was younger, you know, I suffered from very, very low self-esteem because I just didn't like a lot of things about myself. But when I came to know God and I started reading self-help books, I started learning that I had to just embrace those flaws that I didn't like about myself and just be me, be confident. So I think if they work on empowering themselves, because sometimes maybe not everyone's just gonna go out of their way to empower you. That's not how, like when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of that. I didn't have a lot of people that were around me that empowered me to just, you know, like you said, start my business or do whatever it is that I wanted to. And I think it also, I didn't get to that point because I didn't love myself. I honestly did
Right.
not. But once I did and I switched that over and I started loving myself out of just self love, not out of arrogance or conceit, I feel like it just switched everything for the better. And I think for them, whoever is thinking about starting a business and they haven't yet, once you love yourself and you empower yourself to do that, everything else will follow. Everything else literally just, it gets better, you know. You're going to be so shocked that sometimes things just fall into your lap and you're like, just how did that happen? But again, for me, I think it's God. You know, I think when you walk in your purpose, everything falls into place the way that it's supposed to.
Right.
So I would say just those two things to anyone who's thinking about that. Especially, I would say start it now. We're in the best time right now that we're at home. We're not allowed to go anywhere. Then do it. Like you said, we have platforms like Instagram. We're so
Mhm.
blessed when you think about it. We're so blessed that we have platforms like this. So I would say yes, just go for it, you know, and don't be too much in your head or worry about what other people are gonna think. Oh, what are people gonna think if I start my clothing line? You know, and like I mean, maybe that thought could have came to me, but I mean, I didn't let that get to me because I mean, I just knew I was walking to my purpose. And
Right.
I think there's enough room for everyone. That's the other thing. If you want to start a clothing business, do it. You know, I think you're going to be you. So you yourself is going to set you apart, your business apart from everyone else. Not only that, but maybe you're a different style. Like I mentioned, I Am Threads is more boho inspired. Coachella is more like our vibe, like our inspo, you know what I mean? I love
Mm-hmm.
Coachella. I'm like, girl, I would have been at Coachella this weekend. I'm just kidding.
One thing really quickly, I don't know, I feel so bad. Like our audio is a little bit jacked. I took out my AirPods
I
from here too.
know. My
I
bad.
don't know
No,
what
mine
it is.
died. My bad.
No, it's okay. And I took mine out because I didn't know if like there was a thing going, but it's still. So I apologize to people who are watching and who watch it later for the audio. It's trial and error. You know,
Yeah.
things happen.
Yeah.
But and you're so right though about going back to there's room for everybody, because I did a live earlier with another fashion owner, and I can just tell you that it's just, you guys are so different. You know what I'm saying? Like the backstories and the fashion, and it's different, but it's beautiful. You know, it's like there is room for everybody. There is room for
There
everybody.
is. There is. Definitely. I agree.
Yeah. Well, Letty, oh my gosh, it was such a thrill to get to know you and talk with you. And now, when this whole thing is lifted, I'm like, I've got to go to Ontario. I've got to check this out in person. You
Yes.
know, I mean, I love supporting, and you're so beautiful and inside
Thank
and out. And
you.
I love your spirit. I really, really do. So I'm wishing you continued success. And
Thank
I
you
just
so
want to
much.
thank
I
you so much.
receive it. I appreciate it so much. You're also like such a beautiful being as well. I'm like, I just can't stop looking at your eyebrows this whole time.
Girl, are you serious? Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I just had enough time to just like literally fill this one little spot right there.
Girl, you're good.
Like,
You're good.
seriously,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I really
That means a
appreciate
lot.
it. I thank you so much for doing all of this and being like a person, a woman who's empowering other women. Like thank you for being that. Like it's amazing to see. And again, I appreciate you sharing your platform with me and doing this. So yes, we'll definitely have to hang out together afterward.
I would love that. Seriously, as you know what, honestly, to grow the friendship circle of women who also share the same faith, that's actually a goal of mine this year. You know, so it's a
Good.
blessing to get to talk with you and get to know you.
Awesome. I'm
Yeah,
glad. Thank you, friend. I appreciate
of
you.
course. Well, have a happy Easter.
Yes,
And
happy Easter
yeah,
to you as well, and
and
to everyone else that's watching. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. I appreciate it.
yes, thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot.
Yes.
So you have a great rest of your weekend and continued success. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Okay, take
All
care.
right.
God bless
You
you,
too.
friend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.